しぶれた晩夏を Symphony and Bang この愛とビビド落ちて交わる時までもう一度だけ抱いて私は戻らないから二人のメルダ引き金に触れた指が俺の傷
Hello there everybody, Sabata92 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to Rose Guns Days, the last season. Well, I admittedly got very emotional with a lot of the stuff that had happened. And I'll try to go over a little bit more of it whenever, because I feel like this is probably going to be the final episode, I imagine. But there's something about last episode that was like, it was a culmination. And it was a culmination of a single subject that this entire season, and a good portion, it was mostly because with the last season, but this season had a singular theme that focused with a lot of characters. And that was the theme of revenge. Whether it was Zell, Nina, and Charles getting revenge for what happened to Oliver, Richard getting revenge for the loss of Stella and Yuji, Keith also being blinded by his own hatred and wanting revenge for what happened to Stella and Yuji, Meiju controlling himself somewhat thanks to Alan because of his own desire for revenge for the death of Meishu, and Gabriel, the villain who had everything in the palm of his hand, stemmed from his own sense of revenge for the loss of his own sister. I feel like that's probably the one thing that I can come across with this. With this final season, what it focused on was the toxic murk that is revenge. Where regardless of whether you gain that revenge or you're the subject of it, nobody wins in the end. And all that's left is this feeling of emptiness and sadness that comes with it. You can make an argument for Nina, Charles, and Zell getting revenge for Oliver. You can make an argument that that one is a little bit happier, but it won't bring Oliver back. And that's the slightly happier end of the spectrum, admittedly. And interestingly enough, because I was a little bit overwhelmed by my own emotions, something didn't click in my head with the battle between Gabriel and Richard. Gabriel's dying breath seemed like he was incredibly shocked that Butler would turn on him. Yet Butler had this idea that Gabriel had somehow done something to his sister. I can only imagine that Angie was killed. And initially my first thought was Gabriel had somehow done that. But why would he have that reaction? And there was one comment that kind of helped put this into perspective here, because it reminded me of a key detail that I completely forgot about. Meiju's backup plan. It was after the failed after the failed rescue attempt. It was something that I had completely forgotten about, that Meiju had a backup plan. And that makes this all the more darker when you think about it. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts about how this season focused around the idea and the concept and the consequences of revenge. Anyway, sorry, that was a very weird tangent I went on, wasn't it? Madame Rose willingly accepted the role of the villain so that I could inherit her influence smoothly. And as time passed, when people grew used to the name of Madame Jeune, I gave instructions to those involved not to mention the name of Madame Rose whenever possible. It was what she herself had wanted. In her later years, when she had nearly lost her confidence and thought she might not be suited to being Madame, she had been ashamed at the thought of leaving a record of herself behind. I want to disappear from history, because I was never the person for the job in the first place. So, I acted in accordance with her last words. Madame Rose's existence was treated like a dark part of history, and it vanished from the memories of the people, so that she would be able to rest in peace. Then, that leaves me with one question. If Madame Rose said with her last words that she wanted to be forgotten, then why are you now abandoning that promise, if you respected her so much? Oh, I have no intention of abandoning it. After all, Madame Rose's existence will remain forgotten, as long as you don't write an article about it. Even Advisor Udera let out a mysterious laugh. They've been throwing me for a loop. After all, I've been sure that they wanted me to publish Madame Rose's great works so that the people would appreciate her once again. But it would be against her own final wishes in that regard. They wanted to tell her story, but they still don't want it to be like, they don't want it spread around. But they want people to understand her viewpoint and understand the sacrifices that she made. However, when they say it like that, it's as though they're telling me not to tell anyone about the story I've been hearing for 2 whole years. The car had left the highway long ago and was now racing down a narrow, desolate country road. It was a rural area with no houses or cars coming in the opposite direction, or any trace of human activity. There was no sign of anyone, other than their car and the cars of guards accompanying them. Eventually, a place that seemed to be their destination came into sight. Is it a graveyard? It is a graveyard. Yep. Are we going to go visit Rose's grave? It was a graveyard. However, when I saw that graveyard, I felt a shocking sense of déjà vu. After all, this place was... Oh. I've come to pay a visit to a grave today. A visit to Madame Rose's grave. But this place is... Julie-san, watch your step. Welcome, Julie. I didn't know what was going on anymore. However, as my heart beat fiercely, I was able to make a certain guess. Julie, the story isn't over yet. In the church, Madame Rose pointed her gun at me, trying to determine whether I had the resolve to be Madame. I supposedly shot her to death there, but... Of course, that was a lie, existing in order to build the story of me taking her down. Oh, so she did not die. Or she was not shot dead. So, Madame Rose lived?
Even Madame Jeune couldn't possibly have served as Madame without learning anything from her predecessor.
Makes sense. She had to teach her the ins and outs.
Even after Rose supposedly died, she secretly remained in Primavera, passing on her knowledge to Madame Jeune.
So she was able to live a full life and pass on, in her own way.
Julie-san, even you once held a grudge towards your predecessor, who retired from your company without passing any of her experience on.
That may be true, but why here?
After all, this place is...
After passing everything on to me and carrying out all of her responsibilities, she quietly disappeared. She went far from Tokyo, and never returned to City 23 again. When that happened, she finished her life as Rose Hayabara and set off on a new life with a new name.
Wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. Okay, no, it'd be too cheesy if that was the case, but can you imagine them pulling a twist like, Julie-san, what was your mother's name? And it turns out to be Rose's new name.
You don't mean... Then... When Misaki Rose Hayabara changed her name, she took the new family name of Hayashibara. You know who Hayashibara Misaki is, don't you? That's... After all, this is the grave of my family, the Hayashibara family.
Yep! I knew it!
This is the grave where Grandpa and Grandma rest.
Here lie Hayashibara Kotaru and Hayashibara Misaki.
That is...
All the strength left in my body. I slumped over in front of my grandmother's grave, and I finally understood why she had chosen to tell me this long, long tale. I received Primavera from Madame Rose and continued to raise it. I built up power so that we would be able to survive in the international society that would surely arise when our countrymen were mixed in with foreigners in this land. Okay, now with this twist revealed, I kind of want to go back over this and find, like, if there was any foreshadowing to this, but goddamn, it makes sense why she would suddenly tell this story to some random reporter, quote-unquote random.
Starting that day, I continued building up the three forms of power so that I could pass on the strength needed to build a society of mutual assistance between countrymen. Influence, wealth, force. I've built up plenty of these three forms of power, bringing Primavera to completion. That ends my role. Now, our future countrymen just need to inherit this. Aim for their ideals and pass everything on into the future again. But, if you say something like that so suddenly, Madame Rose, the time has finally come to return Primavera to you after you left it in my care. A new generation will blaze a trail through a new era. It's possible that the ideas we proclaimed will have already become old and outdated. However, you must not waste the power that we've built up for the sake of the future. I'm sure it'll prove useful for bringing the new generation to their new ideals. It's impossible! I could never fill such a huge role.
What are you talking about? How can you be inferior to Madame Rose, as one who is far more knowledgeable than her, and who has studied much more? We have no intention of making you bear all the burden alone. I, Old Dog Wayne, will support you as long as I draw breath.
Advisor Udera!
Julie-san, allow me to honestly apologize for all of my rudeness thus far.
Toritsugu-kun?
Ever since I was born, I was raised while being told I would someday serve Madame Rose's descendants. I was born so that I could serve you.
Toritsugu, okay, I'm having the vapors. Oh, fear not, fear not. We won't suddenly start calling you Madame Julie today. Just as Madame Rose passed her experience to me over a long time, I will lead you hand in hand as well. But the most I can do is serve tea. I can't even do my job that well. Well, I worked at a bakery where I couldn't do my job very well either. It's okay, Julie. It's not as though you absolutely have to become Madam. If the new era feels as though Primavera isn't needed, you can have it dissolved, or do anything else deemed necessary. It's easy to give up influence. The money can be donated somewhere. After all, no one would complain to hear that a criminal organization has dissolved. However, if those three powers can be of use somehow, please make use of them. That is the only way that we of the previous century's generation can make up for our sin. The sin of forcing you, the younger generation, to live through the hardship you face today. I don't know what I should do. Then maybe you should take a moment to consider it seriously. Worrying about such things is the only job for the main characters of an era.
Aw. Oh, that is such a nice... Oh, that is so good. December 31st, 2013. A half-century in the future after Madame Rosa's era. The baton of the runners racing through each era was once again being passed on to the young. It's entirely up to us to make use of it, kill it, or throw it away. We sometimes lament that our future has been decided by the old. However, that's just us abandoning responsibility. The path leading to our future, and the future of our countrymen, is always in the hands of us young people. Oh my god. Shishigami Kotaro. Leo Shishigami. Oh! Sorry. I feel like an idiot. I could have easily finished this in the last episode, but admittedly, I got very, very emotional. Gabriel! But that was so good. Wong Young Hong, haven't heard about that dude for a while. But, okay, I'm gonna try to gather my thoughts here as well as I can, okay? So, I don't know if there is going to be a epilogue. I don't think there is going to be, but I'll just kind of sit here and just kind of listen to this a little bit here. When I started Rose Guns Days, I was a little bit scared. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not just because it was a Ryu Kishi work, but because it had no voice acting. And that was something that I was legitimately scared of whenever I first started this series back in... God, when the hell did I start this series? I think it was... Wasn't it 26? No, it wasn't. It wasn't then. It was... Oh God, when the hell did I start that? Fuck it, I'm actually gonna do this. 2 years ago? About 2 years ago. I started this back in, how dare you not tell me? August 2018, on the 26th. 3 years, it says, well, technically it's 3 years ago, but hard to believe I started this 3 years ago. And the funny thing is, it's the same experience that I had with Higurashi. But anyway, what I was saying here, like, I had been told that there was a ridiculous amount of characters, and you were correct. There are certainly a lot of characters. But I think that was like one of the things that I was scared of whenever I started doing this, because voice acting such a large cast, I was afraid that I wouldn't do this novel just... Oh! Final result! Nice. 14 overkill, 1 sharpshooter, 10 ace strikers, 10 juggernauts, a score of 3,172,000. But I think it's mostly because not only I loved this story as much as I did. Oh shit, there's more. Good. I'll just continue this. Support from you guys really helped make this experience that much more fun and enjoyable for me. So, I want to give like a huge thank you to all the people that supported me throughout this entire Let's Play and this series in general, because I don't make it a secret that sometimes I'm a little scared that whenever I try voice acting, it's not going to be enough, or it's not going to do stuff justice but you guys really all of you managed to make this like that much more enjoyable. And I also realize the phrase "you guys" is overly saturated and all that, but I truly mean that. Julie, they finished in the second meeting room, so can I ask you to clean up? Julie, it was you, wasn't it? You forgot that folder in the serving room. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Come on, you're always like that. That's why people still don't treat you like an adult. Spring 2014. Several months have passed since I received that dramatic confession. As usual, I was serving tea at the Tokyo branch of the Hong Kong Daily News. Until the previous year, I was treated sort of like a special employee since I'd formed a special relationship with a VIP from the criminal underworld. But after all, I'd ended up shelving all the interviews I'd done during those 2 years. All the credit I might have earned disappeared, and the treatment I received changed abruptly. But there was no helping it. That entire tale was told to me alone. Out of respect to Madame Rose's will, I decided not to release the details of her tale lightly. Good on you. Also, she's your grandma. So, I was branded as a useless person who just drank tea and talked with an old lady for 2 whole years without any scoop to show for it. I was treated as a person who had stolen her salary for 2 whole years. Well, it was a failure so big that I could easily have been fired. However, perhaps because of my position as a rare specimen, a Japanese employee, I somehow managed to avoid being fired. Well, maybe because of all that, I was totally stuck serving tea forever. I probably wouldn't be able to return to the life I longed for, the life of a journalist, for some time. Well, for now, I'll get serious and give it my all. It's not so bad. After all, I'm the only one who gets to leave the office at the scheduled time. Julie really has it good getting to leave at the normal time. There's no helping it. Guess she's not suited to be a journalist. Go ahead and whisper behind my back, girls. And the girls, they sounded very masculine. Well, getting bullied so older employees can let off steam is one of the jobs of a rare specimen like me. Also, you got netherworld connection, so... Well then, I'll be leaving first. It's at times like this, when I have to pretend to be in a hurry and don't leave with everyone else, that make me hate working here. Why trying to show off how hard you're working to me? I'm not the one paying your salary. Heck, I wish I were. I'd give you all D rankings and tear you apart. Jackasses. Well, when the chime rings, my job is done. My job as a mocked rare specimen tea server will be over. I'll just clock out right away. Yep. The outside evening air was refreshing. Oh. I take it back. Looks like I don't have time for that. At that moment, one of my co-workers was returning to our company. By taxi, not train. Good work.
Julie, you leaving now? Must be nice to go home at a normal time, huh? By the way, sorry, but could you turn in this receipt, even if it's tomorrow? It's just such a pain to do. Pardon me, miss. If you have business with Julie-san, please do it during work hours. Also, please refer to Julie-san as son, at least outside of work.
No, please don't mind them. They're just a little, crazy.
Let us go, Julie-san. Issues with the other party made us push forward our schedule.
What was on today's schedule again?
First, we're going to Ginza. That haute couture dress has been complete, so we'll have you change into that. After that, we'll rush you over to the location of the ceremony. the madam will greet all the guests. One of the guests will be the CEO of the main Hong Kong branch of the Hong Kong Daily News. When he learned you were working for the Tokyo branch, he said something about how he'd be especially interested in meeting you.
That might just be perfect. Hey, about that receipt just now, I'll submit it, okay? I'm pretty sure it'll be accepted.
Huh? Thank you? Oh god, I pissed myself. That guy held me at gunpoint. Shit. Huh! Oh god, he did it again! Oh god, that's delightful.
When I was suddenly told to become Madame Julie, I sort of thought it'd be kind of fun, like some Cinderella dream, but that was totally wrong. During the day, I was a clumsy tea server who'd been shunted out of the way. At night, I'm a princess of the criminal underworld. It's enough to make me go insane. To be perfectly honest, I'm still clueless about this future of our countrymen thing. Still, according to Madame Jeune, that's only because I'm a bit lacking in my studies. If I keep studying like this, I wonder if even I'll feel a Madame's sense of responsibility and become able to understand the ideals they pass down. Honestly, it still didn't feel real. However, I'd like to keep on studying. After all, this is the power leading to the future, which our countrymen of the past gave us. It's up to us to decide whether we use it or let it rot. Eventually, will even I become Madame Julie? I doubt I could really take on such a role, not without a partner as cool and reliable as Leo Shishigami.
By the way, I took 7 ultra rares and beat up that brat who kept attacking you all the time, Julie-san. He sent me a message. He sent a message to apologize and say he'd stop trolling you, so I'll copy-paste that to you. I'm uber reliable, aren't I? Oh, need any leftover rares? I'm not collecting slug knights. How dare you! So I'll send one over.
Advisor Udera, please pass your future down to a better knight than this. I can't bear to have my knight be such a frivolous social network game addict.
He's playing all the gotchas. Credits again. Oh my god, that was just a great little bonus. Okay, let me gather my thoughts a little bit here. So, getting my thoughts with the main story itself, it started off very simple. I mean, it was focused with with Leo Shishigami and meeting Rose and getting acquainted to the criminal underground and the underworld itself. I was a little bit, I'm pretty sure you could tell I felt like I was out of my element, especially dealing with ladies of the evening, of course. Granted, this is back whenever I was, well, I know back then I still kind of struggled, you know what I mean. But as I started going around, getting accustomed to the characters and everything about it, this is a new conductor. I miss you. I need you. Aww. Getting myself into this world where the characters that I care about are basically part of the mafia and just the criminal underworld. It was a new kind of experience for me. I mean, hell, we throw out Umineko, congratulations, you got a family trapped on an island. Counting Igarashi, you have a village of people that is a psychological terror. But here, Uncle Mio, and I saw the Sonozaki names there. But this one, going into a world it's almost realistic. Just dealing with the mafia and all of that, as well as dealing with a disaster-torn Japan that's still on the recovery. Everything about that was just, Dark Soul Emmanuel, nice. But I keep getting lost. I really should have kept my note thing here, but it did a good job making me care about all the characters of the criminal underworld and getting introduced to the cast. Like, meeting characters like Meiju and Butler, I've always felt like legit scared of them and all that. But as the story started to go around, like, it helped build up this lack of... Okay, don't get me wrong. Oh my god, it's playing the opening theme. Oh, special. Ooh. What's this? Why do I hear cicadas? Oh. Oni Kakushi, the Demoning Away chapter, summer 2002. What? Watanagashi, the cotton drifting. Oh, this is like an announcement for Higurashi being released and all that? Or, wait. I'm actually kind of curious about this. What is this? Sat. Oh my god. Dude, you're freaking look. Hey. The Massacre. That's a delightful chapter. Name, isn't it? The Festival Accompanying chapter and the Dice Saigoroshi. Higurashi When They Cry. Saigoroshi. I don't think I've heard of that one. A Tale of Tragedy and Comedy. And the sound of the curtain call draws near. Huh. So that was kind of like a bit of an announcement for Higurashi. Oh. That's nice. Huh. Higurashi When They Cry. How? Who are you, pink-haired girl? The returning performance turns to tragedy once more. Am I being spoiled by accident? Uh-oh. I may have caused a problem. Don't show more. Don't show more. Okay, thank God. Okay, I about had a heart attack. Like, oh fuck, am I spoiling my shit? My shit. I didn't mean to do that. Oh god damn it, that completely got my thoughts scrambled. Okay, first off, the way this visual novel worked, where it was... Oh, let's go to the music section. That's a good idea. I can't read half of that. But anyway, the way this game, the way this novel played out, it was very much similar to an actual game. Like, I was not expecting the way the battles were going. Like, it's a very interesting way to try to include, like, player interaction with a visual novel. Like, I was really getting into it. Granted, I realized that there was a cheat mode, which basically meant hit space to skip a bunch of the battles, but I was trying my best to not do that. But you guys get what I mean. This was a rather... it was a rather, you know... It was a unique experience. Something that you know what? I already know the name of the song that I want to listen to, so... But, it was overall a fantastic sort of experience being able to have, like, interaction with the novel and battling system. It felt fun. And seeing the various artwork that they had used for each character, even the villains, for crying out loud, were so good. Oh, right. Speaking of villains, oh my god. Okay, right off the bat, like, in terms of how fucking wild he is, Alfred is a delightful bastard. If I had to pick another character that I legitimately really liked who was a villain at first but turned good in his own way but still kept it, it's a pair. Caleb and Miguel. Like, those two were characters that I loved voicing the most. I'm pretty sure people could tell that I was having too much fun voicing those two. Let's not even get started on Cyrus. Lord knows it took me a very long time to get that voice down, and holy crap, I'm kind of happy that it turned out the way it did. I mean, hell, I got to the point where I can do the voice normally, without any issue.
Or for crying out loud. Even voicing characters like Richard, obviously became one of my favorite things to do, except whenever he turned kind of into a dick. That's kind of a sad thing.
Now, admittedly, I'm a little upset that we don't get to hear what happened to everybody else, but I feel like it being left up to interpretation, and you're able to kind of use the details that the story has given you to kind of figure out the fates of the others. Example, Keith is probably going to be on the run for the rest of his life, with Primavera hunting him down, and Meiju. I think one comment certainly pointed this out a little bit here. I guarantee you, I'm gonna agree with you. Comment. No, fuck it. I need to properly, but I need to properly state your name because it's not fair to just refer to you as comment. It's exceptionally rude, and I need to apologize for that. But you put it into, you actually put it aptly, very accurately, I would say, concerning Keith and yeah. Anyway, I do believe it was, yep, it was the commenter LC. I am definitely in agreement with you though that I'll use your words here. As for Keith, I can see him committing suicide after Alan's death, but even without that, he'll be purged by Jun's Primavera or chased down by the GDS. Meiju must be looking forward to having a little chat with the sniper who tortured his sister to death. Especially after he got Alan killed too. That's another thing. Meiju's descent, like, oh god. Well, Lord knows Keith is not gonna have a happy ending whatsoever. No. Like, oh. I mean, think about it from Meiju's perspective. He not only lost his sister, but he also lost the man who made his sister happy. The man who he accepted as a member of the family and accepted as his brother. The man who was able to bring him back to some semblance of sanity instead of being consumed by rage. At the loss of that, I guarantee you, Meiju would not hold back anymore. Losing his sister and losing his brother. He would, ooh. Keith would probably have met one of the most gruesome ends. I guarantee it. Oh, God. The way this story made me become incredibly attached to almost every goddamn character that he introduced. Let's not talk about Gabriel though. He's a special kind of. Now I will admit I wish the battle between Richard and Gabriel was a little bit longer, but from how epic it was and how satisfying it was to finally see him be put down, it was still good in my books. I wish it was a bit longer because I wanted to have Richard and Gabriel shouting out, like, having them shout out their grievances at each other as they continue to try to fight each other down. Now, from a narrative point, I can understand how they would have Butler be the one to land the final blow, finally. But some part of me would have liked to have seen Richard at least managing to land a few hits on Gabriel. Like the two bloodied demons fighting to the death. Only for Butler to show up and finally put an end to everything. But you know what? For what it's worth, it was still very good. I'm gonna go back and relive that just because it's such a damn good moment. Rose's development throughout the story was also something to admire. Seeing this girl, this young girl, gradually build herself up to a role that she admitted that she was not the right person to be a part of. Forcing herself into a position to make decisions that inevitably... What really settled that scene for me was the moment where she collapsed from severe overworking. That's what initially settled it to me, like, okay, she's pushing herself to the limit to try her best, you know? Everything about that. her self-sacrificing was so... Seeing her develop, seeing her become a stronger woman because of it, was an incredibly satisfying moment. Leo was fucking great in every little scene that he was in, because Leo is a goddamn badass. He's a man. He's a man's man. But, oh god. Seeing Wayne also go through his own developmental stage from a cocky attitude to becoming a much more mature young man in his role was also a very satisfying thing. Seeing Richard's downfall at the very end was so incredibly sad that I had grown so attached to him, that I had grown so attached to so many characters, and watching them, watching not only some of them fall down to despair, but Season 3, the way Season 3 finally turned the dial. We had gone through risks. Not a single person had really died throughout the entire exchanges of the story that we had gone through. They would always be happy little endings. But then Gabriel showed up, taking away that glimmer of happiness, these happy and joyful times, and twisting them, ripping them all apart. And it all started with the moment that Stella, a character that I was a little iffy around, but grew to love as much as everybody else, watching her be gunned down in one of the most gruesome and horrifying ways. It was what really turned the dial up to, okay, the happy good times are gone. Shit is serious. And the way it culminated into one final rondo of bullets, gunfire, and blood, and the very end. Holy fuck. What really sold to me the demented depravity of a monster like Gabriel, though, was admittedly the death of Yuji. And I myself had almost also become consumed by the very rage that Richard must have felt. Gabriel is such a damn well-written villain. You can't help but hate him, but you love how he was written. He's a hateable villain that's also likable. He's a well-written, hateable villain. You rarely come across villains that you can absolutely despise, but you can appreciate how well they're written. It is a rare moment. Usually whenever you get some villains that are hateable, they're just hateable and there's nothing positive about them whatsoever. Gabriel has a shit ton of positives. He's incredibly smart. He's super manipulative. He knows how to fuck with people's emotions. And the way that he was written to where he had everything under the palm of his hand so effectively. And his backstory makes sense. You can understand why he is the way he is. You can't sympathize with the guy, but my god, he's so well written. Okay, I guess partially you could sympathize with the death of his sister and all that. I mean, you can sympathize with that. But my god, it's... Oh god, sorry. I got a little heated. He's such a well-written villain. I can't help but get just excited and mad and ugh. Oh god, I'm gonna go rewatch that final battle between Richard and Gabriel just so I can re-enjoy it. Oh god. But the journey that we've had with this series, I want to thank everyone for joining me on this. I want to thank everybody for supporting me on this, and not only giving me your inputs, but, well, making this as enjoyable as it was. I'm sad that it's ended, but goddamn, this is gonna be very similar to what it was like with, well, you know, Umineko, Desiree, The House in Fata Morgana. This is one of those stories that I'm gonna be keeping close to my heart because of how much I thoroughly loved it. Oh shit, that's right, there's a manga of this. I think I'm gonna go read that. Thank you all very much for joining me on this. Everybody, you are all amazing. Thank you so much, very much, for the support for this series. thank you for making this as fun for me as it was, hopefully, for all of you guys. And, well, this was a wonderful experience. Almost everything about it. It was so good. But anyway, thank you all very much for joining me. Thank you all very much for everything. And I will see all of you next time.